right, looks like we're now recording. Well, welcome everyone to Professional Development Day. My name is Jason Vance, and you are here today to talk about Confluence. I have joining me today my co-host, Mika Behringer. She is our trainer over here in our department. Probably has trained a lot of you, especially those folks that are fairly new to the district in the last couple of years. So she is going to join me, kind of keep an eye on the chat. If you guys can get in there. Oh, it looks like Rachel's here too. Let me make you a co-host there, Rachel. I'm sorry. Find you there. There we go. So we also have Rachel Kelly, part of our IT support, or not IT support team, our our Infinite Campus support team, and they will be admitting folks as they come in here a little bit later. So if you guys can handle that for me, I'd appreciate it, and keeping an eye on the chat. If any of you guys have questions during today's session, feel free to just throw a note in the chat there. If we get a chance, we can probably take some more questions at the end that you guys have as we go through this. So with that, again, my name is Jason Vance. I supervise the Infinite Campus support team, and we also, I'm kind of like one of the administrators of Confluence for the district since we brought it to our district several years ago. So let's go ahead and get started here. I just got a couple PowerPoint slides here I wanted to run through really quick. Just verify, Mika, you can see my screen okay?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So part of the reason we brought Confluence to the district many years ago was try to find a place to organize all of our information. All of you out there in the district and all of our buildings
Mute it.
and
Make it mute.
I'm sorry? I thought someone asked a question. I apologize. So if we have all the information in one place, you know, our knowledge is very powerful collectively, and that's what what Confluence aims to do is to be able to have all the knowledge we need in one place and allow multiple people to contribute to it. So when we talk about communication across the district, we think about how we communicate today. And the image there just kind of gives some ideas of how we do it. Everybody sits in meetings. We have conference calls. Now we have Zoom meetings, instant messages through Microsoft Teams and other tools, phone calls, and so on. And I asked, well, are these methods effective in that communication, and how can we improve them? Well, some of the frustrations that we have are if you're looking for a piece of information regarding Infinite Campus or anything for that matter, it's not always easy to find what you're looking for. Typically, you have to find that one person that knows the answer to the question you're seeking, but if you're new to the district, you may not know who that person is. And the problem is the knowledge they have up here in their head is not spread out very well across the district. So we're trying to find ways to meet these challenges across the district. That's when we brought in Confluence, probably about 12 years ago. Honestly, it's been with us that long, and we've been using it for quite a while. So what Confluence does is allow us as a district to put all this stuff in one place and allow everyone to have access to it and be able to edit it. And that's the key. And that's really what I want to focus on here with all of you today as building secretaries. So the reason I was asked to kind of put this training together is to talk about Confluence and how it can help all of our building secretaries collaborate better. So I'm going to get out of the PowerPoint here. I told you I wouldn't bore you with that too much, just to kind of give some ideas. So when we look at Confluence and you first log into it, this is kind of what you see. I'm not even logged in at the present time. Now, most of you have already seen Confluence when you look at the Infinite Campus dashboard. So let me start with there. The Infinite Campus dashboard looks like this, and this is where you get all of your information about Infinite Campus. This is where we put all of our knowledge. We call this our knowledge base or our dashboard. So I want to start out by understanding what
Now,
Confluence
Jason,
is. Yes. Oh, I need
we're
to share
still
that, don't I?
seeing, yeah.
Yeah, I apologize. Thank you. I
That's
just
all right.
realized that. When I flip screens, I need to share that. There we go. So there we go. I'm logged into Confluence and the Infinite Campus dashboard. So the Infinite Campus dashboard is an example of a space in Confluence. And backing up a second, understanding what Confluence is. Confluence is a wiki. And essentially the definition of a wiki is a web page that anyone can edit. Okay, you don't need any special knowledge. If you can go in and create and edit a Word document, then you can edit a wiki. It's that simple to understand and utilize. So probably the most common wiki that folks are aware of is Wikipedia. If you've ever gone online and looked up some information about pretty much anything, it's an online encyclopedia. Not everyone realizes that the data there is not maintained by a bunch of super smart people. It's the entire community. Anyone can contribute information to Wikipedia. And Confluence works exactly the same way. The biggest difference is Confluence is our own here in Columbus City Schools. We own it and we control who can see information and who can update and edit information. So the aim of today is talk about what Confluence is for you and how we can build a space specific for building secretaries out there. And sorry, I'm seeing, yeah, I'll say my sound is working as far as I know. Hopefully you guys have your speakers turned up. I apologize if you can't hear. I think I've got everything turned on my end as well as I know how.
Yeah, I told everybody just try to test their audio at the bottom of their screen, see if maybe
Yeah.
that's an issue.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I just want to be sure I wasn't muted to everyone. So let's go ahead and talk about a little of some of the features of Infinite Campus. I'm sorry, of Confluence and how secretaries might be able to utilize that to collaborate better as a team. So probably the best way that I can demonstrate that is first of all showing you some existing pages we have out there, and then go through a little bit of a demonstration about how some of the features work. So on the Infinite Campus dashboard, what you're seeing on the main screen here, I've put a search box in here. Now there are two places you can search in Confluence. One is here, but there's another one in the upper right corner. This searches all of Confluence. So Confluence is made up of a hierarchy. There's only two levels. You have spaces. This is a space. Infinite Campus Dashboard is a space. Within this space, I have a number of pages, and there's a whole bunch of these about all the different topics around Infinite Campus. And this search box here will search just this space. If you have a question about attendance, and how to do it, you have a whole bunch of pages that pop up here, just like Google does. You don't even have to finish typing, and it gives you some suggestions here. So you can look for anything that you need. The other thing that's prevalent on this page is our blog. We have a blog specific to our own space here, and we just put little tidbits of information out here every once in a while with some screenshots and talking about upcoming trainings and different things that happen in our blog. So when we create a space for all of the secretaries, you guys will have one of these as well where you can talk to each other, and I'll demonstrate that in a few minutes. The other things that you can see here on pretty much any page, you can click on a page to view it and see what's going on just like any other website. But again, the key feature about this is that we are going to provide access to all of you to now be able to log in and create and edit content that lives out there. So how do I do that? Well, first of all, I need an account, and that's something that once I get the list from Lydia, we will create accounts for all of you so that you have the ability to actually log in. So up until now, when you've gone to the Infinite Campus dashboard, it did not require you to log in just to view information, just like I'm doing now. However, once you do get your account, you will be able to log in and make some changes. So how do I do that? Well, there's a button up here in the upper right corner that says sign in. It looks like an arrow pointing into a doorway. So when I click on that, it actually, because I'm logged in through Google, it kind of already knows who I am. So it asks me, it's like, well, do you want to go ahead and sign in with Google? And I want to make sure that, of course, that you sign in with your district account, not your personal account. So I'm going to click on that here. And my screen looks pretty much the same, but now I've got some information here that tells me a little bit about what I've been doing in Confluence recently. I have access to a lot more spaces. Every one of these boxes out here represents a space, and I can actually see all of them, including the, let's see, okay. I have the Infinite Campus dashboard and lots of other spaces out here. So there's the Central Enrollment space for anything to do with Central Enrollment. We have master scheduling, both for secondary and elementary schools. that has specific information that you might want to know about different things like that. So the aim here is to create a space for you all to collaborate and utilize. This dashboard page here essentially tells me what's been going on in Confluence recently. These are pages that I have visited. These are pages that I have actually worked on and added content to or made some changes to. Over to the right, you can see just a feed, and this feed essentially shows you anything that's new and popular throughout the entire Confluence product itself. So what you're going to see in here a lot, and this is something that I wanted to share with you, Ashlyn is one of our supervisors over in health services, and this little icon represents a blog post. So if I click on that, I can see that the nurses in their Nursing Wiki, this is a separate space, they are very, very active in their blog. They get in here every day and they ask questions. You know, this is it. New signage, mask optional. Is the district providing this, or do we need to print our own? And this is something that might be relevant to you all as well. You might want to know the answer to that question. So one of their team got on right away. I mean, you can see this first message was March 4th. And same day, someone got on there and answered the question. A supervisor confirmed it. This is what they look like. They pasted a picture in there, all without having to make a phone call, without having to send an email, or do anything like that. Or having a meeting. Everything was right here for them and answered that same day, because this group of folks have created that community and that connection, and they are able to have this collaboration pretty much every single day. They go in here and you can click on any one of these. You can kind of see, again, this is specific to nurses, but you know, someone will ask a question and usually one or two people or more will answer it. So that is one of the key features that I definitely would like to see utilized by our secretaries across the district, because you all are very good resources for each other, especially those who have been with the district for a while. And you will be able to help answer each other's questions. Now, what I want to help you understand too is I'm just kind of showing this as a demonstration. The access to the Nursing Wiki, I have this because I'm an administrator, so you guys will probably not be able to see what I'm seeing. I'm just telling you what it will look like when you start creating your own content and looking in here. Because like I said, this is I mean, this isn't super secret information, but this is primarily for nurses to collaborate with each other. So that's what the blog post is about. So let's see, I saw a couple of questions coming in here. Brenda, is this better than using Teams? So that's a good question. I would say that Microsoft Teams, for those familiar with Teams, is a good tool. I use it extensively with my team to basically have conversations and do instant messages. I would rather one of my teammates send me a quick Teams message rather than sending me an email, because I can jump on it, answer it quickly, and be done. And rather than having to go back and read a bunch of emails later in the day, because mine pile up pretty quickly. So I don't say that one's necessarily better than the other. I do like Confluence because not only does it provide this blog feature, but let me go back to the Infinite Campus dashboard. I think that having it as a knowledge base and being able to provide links to other articles and things like that. Let me give you an example. So when we talk about the third grade reading guarantee, right? As an example, I built this page to talk about, you know, and this only applies to elementary secretaries. So if you're a secondary, you know, bear with me a moment here. But the third grade reading guarantee is a process that's not always easy to understand, or there's a lot of pieces to it. So we built this page and talked about, okay, who's responsible for doing what and when, and then if the principal has to go in and sign this form, well, how do I do that? Well, all I gotta do is click on this link that takes me to another page that we created, and we can have these nice documents here with screenshots and how-tos that show them exactly how to do what they do. So I think that's where Confluence has an advantage over Teams as far as providing a space to provide information to people. Okay. Now, what I want to help you all understand as well is that anytime we provide documentation, the goal is to not have that same documentation in multiple places. So if it's specific to Infinite Campus, for example, it should live here in the Infinite Campus space, and we maintain that for you. However, when we have a space specifically for secretaries, and let's say that, and Brenda, I'll pick on you since you asked the question. Let's say that you ask a question in your blog, hey, I can't remember where to find that document, that awesome document Jason created to do, taking daily attendance, and I'm just throwing out an answer out there. Well, one of your peers will be able to answer that, oh yeah, that's right there in the dashboard, here's a link to it. And you have it right away, right? You are being able to help each other out. So that's where Confluence kind of has a bit of an advantage. Now, for instant messages, just a quick note to someone, and you want to ask a quick question or just let them know something, yeah, Teams is great, and I don't discourage that use at all. So I think they can be used together. So great question, I appreciate that. Yeah, and Rachel, yeah, exactly right. We use Teams for direct communication and Confluence mostly for documentation and to be able to collaborate with each other. So, but one of the aims of having this conversation with you all here today, that Lydia Wiggins kind of asked me and our team to kind of present this to you all, is we wanted to help our secretaries be able to collaborate a little bit better than they do today. And it's not just around Infinite Campus. So one of the struggles that we have and our student data specialists that's come out to your building is we're focused primarily on student data, right? But that is only a portion of a secretary's job, right? You have to know lots of things. You have to know HR stuff and payroll stuff and purchase orders and all those kind of things that are just like above my head, right? I don't have any skin in that game, so to speak. So we want to be able to provide you a space where you can collaborate along all that stuff, not just Infinite Campus, if that makes sense. So that's kind of where we're going here. So let me jump out and just kind of show you a few features of how pages work here. And I'm going to jump over to a different. I'm going to show you an example of how to do a search. As I type in here, I've got a test space. There we go. So when I'm creating a page, how hard is it to create one? It's actually very, very simple. So I can go in here and I can click on a test, and I can open up any kind of page and edit it. Now remember, editing a page is as simple as editing a Word document. And how do I do that? Well, once you're logged in and you have the appropriate permissions to do that, you have the ability to click this little pencil icon in the upper right corner, or you can type the letter E on your keyboard to go into edit mode. When I do that, you're going to see the page change slightly. You'll notice that now I have some of the typical tools that I will see within a Word document, like I can make text bold, I can make it italic, I can add tables and ordered lists and bullet lists and numbered lists and all kinds of fun stuff like that. Now you can do a lot more stuff inside a Confluence page, but those are some of the basic items here. So I'm going to create a new page here. The way that I do that is if I go in my list of pages, I can actually click this little plus button to create a page, or click this button at the top of the screen to create a new one. Either way is fine. Where that page lives, you can define that yourself. So if I'm on my test page here and I want to create a new one, I can do that, and there's my new page right there for me. The only thing that I need to do to make sure that I save it is to give the page a title. So Confluence for School Secretaries. Okay, I've given it a name. How do I save it? There's a blue Publish button in the upper right corner. You can also, if you want to utilize a template to get you started, right? Right now I've got a blank page. It looks just like a blank piece of paper, okay? But if I want to utilize a template, let's say that I want to make a page for some meeting notes. Maybe I'm having a meeting and I want to take notes. So there are templates out there for that. There's all kinds of different things that you can utilize, and as I hover over them, you can kind of see how it will create a lot of these pages here. So I can create, this is, trying to find a good example here. Yeah, there's a weekly meeting notes. That's the one I was looking for. So when I click on that, it'll actually build it for me. And then all I got to do is just start typing in it. Here's the goals, here's some action items, and I can type some dates in there and do all kinds of fun stuff. So, and again, I've only got an hour with you guys, or a little less than an hour, so I don't have time to go over every single possible feature, but I want to hit on some of the highlights here for page creation. Just know that when we start this and you guys start building this information, we will definitely make available to you more in-depth training and how you can get in here and start creating content on your own. So this is essentially what a page looks like. Let's say that I'm finished editing it for now and I want to save it. So that's done with this publish button in the upper right corner. So I will click on publish. And it goes back. I don't have those edit tools anymore, and that page is there. Now notice that when I create a page, and any page that I have out there, there are some items right here at the top that are created for me automatically. It tells me who made this page. Okay, I can hover over my name and you can see who I am. It tells me when it was last updated, and then how long it would estimate you to read through this page, how long this page is. But over time, as these pages are created, you look at this and you say, oh, okay, this one was created by Reagan. It was created back on August 25th, and 8 people have looked at this page. What this does for you is it tells you, okay, the information I have on here, this wasn't updated since 2013. Is this information current? Probably not, right? But if it's fairly recent and lots of people are reading it, you have a pretty good idea that this page is up to date and relevant. Because one of the issues that we've had in the past is anytime you have, let's say, like a Google site or our old intranet that we used to have with a lot of PDF documents uploaded, there's never really an easy way to tell how current that information was. Because someone they made the page and they post it there. A lot of times you will print it and have it on your desk, and it can sit there for a year, 2 years, and that's your documentation. But having everything online lets us know how current that documentation is, so it makes it really easy to verify that that information is current. Now, the page that I created here, you'll notice that it nested it under this test space because that's where I told it to go. I clicked on test, I clicked the plus sign, and it created it right underneath there. Don't be too concerned about where pages live. Just mostly be concerned about content. First of all, because you can search for anything you want. If I type in the search box up here, it'll find pretty much any word on this page, any attachments that I have to it, all kinds of stuff. So that's not a huge concern. But if you want to arrange it in a way that makes sense for you, it's really easy to do. I can take this page right here, this one I just created, and move it up here in between these other 2 pages and just let go. It's a drag and drop. So really simple to do that. Let me switch gears a little bit and talk about the blog post. So the blog right here at the top of the screen, I can click on that. I'm not sure if I have any in my test space. Yeah, I do. I have one. And I can click on any blog post and kind of see it. I can create new blog posts, but again, everything starts with the create button at the top of the screen. So if I want to create a blog post, right here to the right, blog post, that's what I want to do. And by their nature, they should be pretty short and sweet, right? And then I click publish and it's done. What that does for me is I have a history of these, right? So this is one of the other advantages to Teams. With Teams, you guys, yeah, you can all chat with each other and you can set up channels to where you all join in the same group chat and things like that. It works great. Part of the issue I have with that for anything that gets really long is that I'm scrolling way back in time to try to find a conversation that may have happened a week ago, 2 months ago, whatever. Whereas with the blog post, if I ask a question and the community is kind of answering that question for me, it automatically archives this here so you can see by year and by date when those posts were in there, so you can go find the one that you're looking for. And this search tool will find those for you. If I search for Jason's post, of course it's recently viewed, so it's right here at the top. But it is easily found within Confluence. All right, let me jump back to some of my pages here. So let me, how am I doing on time? Doing okay. All right, so let me go back into my Confluence page, and I'll start a page from scratch here. So just some of the fun stuff you can do with creating new pages here. At the very top, I can create like a header image, and maybe I just want to have a design at the top of my screen. So I'll find, I don't know. Okay, I can do something like that. There's a secretary. Okay, and um, it does, you can do all kinds of fun emojis. I mean, I wouldn't get too crazy with some of this stuff, but you can do that. So one of the other powerful features within Confluence is, again, not only ability just to type out boring text. If I did that, I could have paragraphs and paragraphs of text, and it gets kind of boring. So you want to make things stand out a little bit. There's a couple ways you can do that. One of them is with the use of tables. So there's a button up here to create a table. I can click on that, and boom, I've got a table. Um, I can add and remove rows very easily by clicking these little dots on the top or on the side. So if I need a row right there, I can do that. Very, very simple. When I publish it, it looks like a table. Very easy way to organize information. I'll go back into edit mode here. Some other options here at the bottom. You can utilize what are called macros. Now, a macro is, if any of you are familiar with Excel, it's a way you can push a button and a bunch of things happen behind the scenes and you get some output, right? That's really essentially all a macro is. In Confluence, there are a ton of macros that you can use. Some of them are right here at the top of the screen for you, the most commonly used ones that you can put in. For example, like this info panel, right? If I want to highlight some information, I want to make it an info panel. That just makes a nice blue box. Here is some important information. That makes it stand out from your text so you can actually have that be seen very easily. So you can see how easy it is to create. I didn't have to write any code. I didn't have to know HTML or CSS or any of those other acronyms that web developers understand. I just clicked a button and boom, it's right there. Simple. The other way that you can go to macros is utilizing the / on your keyboard. It's a shortcut to pretty much put in anything you want. Let's say that I want to put in a picture. So when I click on this, let's say that I want to go and put in a CCS logo and put it in my screen. I can do that right there. There's the Columbus City Schools logo. Now there's also a button for that up here at the top of the screen. Simple to do. Well, what if I want to manipulate that image a little bit? I can click on it. I can utilize some of these buttons here to align it to the left side of the screen, align it to the right side of the screen, put it back in the center. I can have my text wrap around that image, anything I want there. I can actually make it larger and smaller by dragging these little handles back and forth, so I can do some fun stuff with that. And I can put a caption right here at the bottom. Okay, obviously that one doesn't really need caption, but when I'm doing screenshots for Infinite Campus, for example, and I want to say, what is this picture that I'm looking at, that will actually show me some of those things. All right, so one of the other great features about this is that I can attach documents to a page. So a lot of times I get asked, when is it appropriate to create documentation in here, or to just, if I've already got something written in Word or a PDF document, to just grab it and attach it in here? And it's a good question. It kind of depends. So if you have a document, let's say, I guess an example would maybe like our student code of conduct, for example. You don't want to recreate that in here because someone already took a lot of time and built that into a very nice PDF document. And maybe you just want to attach it here for reference, or if there's a guide to doing withdrawals or something and you want to put it in here, that might be a good way to do that. So you can say, I'm just going to throw a document in here just so you can see what it looks like. Org chart, all right? And so this is an org chart, and I want to paste a document in here. How do I do that? Well, you can go find a document by clicking on this Files tab up here at the top, and say, let me go find a document to put out here, whether it's an image or a document, doesn't matter. Or if you got something, I'm going to just drag something from my desktop, which I know you guys can't see, but I'm going to drag it, and when I drop it down in here, I've attached that document to the page. So now when I publish this document and I
Okay, so it looks like we might have lost Jason for, oh, wait, he might be back now.
looks like I am back. I
Yeah,
have
there
no
you
idea
go.
what happened there, guys. My Zoom just zonked out on me.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I'm online. You guys aren't having any network issues, Rachel or Mika,
Yeah,
are you?
there's network issues today.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, there's a lot of outages today.
All right. Well, I apologize, folks. I wish I could control that, but I can't. Okay. Kimberly says I'm back, so thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let me share my screen once again here. Does Mika, can you tell me when I froze, like at what part I left off on? Because I just can't hear.
Um, yeah, you were right after you put in that document, and then mine just, I didn't hear anything else.
Okay. So essentially, all I did, I was in edit mode. And I think dragging and dropping is the easiest way to add documents to a page. I happen to drag mine from my desktop and I dropped it here into the table. Now, it doesn't have to be within a table. You could put a document anywhere you want on the page. This is just a neat way to organize it. So I can say this is what it is. Here's the document. This is our department org chart, for example. So dragging and dropping that document in there, and once I publish the page, you can see that when a user comes out to view this page, depending on the type of document, whether it's a PDF or a Word or Excel, it'll give you a nice little preview of what that document looks like. And when someone is viewing the page, they can actually click on it. It will enlarge it and have like a preview of it in your window. Now, if you're viewing Excel and it's a big wide Excel document, you'll just kind of get a portion, a snippet of it. So you may just need to download it, which is this little cloud button here. You can download any document that's attached to a Confluence page. But that is one of the powerful features of Confluence is being able to have documents that you've already created and just attach them out here, especially if it's something that doesn't change often. And that's kind of my rule of thumb, right? If I'm creating documentation or a how-to guide to do something, do I take a document that I've already made or someone else made and just attach it, or I just make a page like I've been doing here? And I guess my answer is I prefer to create pages wherever you can because again, those pages are searchable. As well as you can keep them up to date as things change. So if it's something that changes frequently or maybe even just year to year, you might want to consider making a page for it because again, you can see who made it, the last time it was updated, and how many people have been reading it so you can see what the relevancy of that page is. When you bring a document into a page and someone just clicks on it, you don't have those kind of features and you can't always tell. So that's a good, I guess, rule of thumb when you're doing that. So that's just some of the basics about creating a page. I want to jump back to the Infinite Campus dashboard. So I want to go use my search tool up here. And if I type in infinite, there we go, campus, as I start typing, you can see that the search tool automatically, again, just like if I was searching in Google, it gives me some suggestions as to what I might be looking for. Okay, so the first thing here, the first section is pages, blogs, and attachments. You can see these icons, the little blue icon that looks like a page. These represent pages out here that have the words Infinite Campus in them somewhere. Down here below, these are spaces. This is what I talked about earlier. A space is just a collection of pages. That's really all it is. And the one that I want right now is the Infinite Campus dashboard. So I'm going to click on that, and that will take me back there. So let's look through some of these pages and just talk about some of the features that we have in there. I did talk about earlier the blog. So this we made our main page just kind of be our blog feed, so people can scroll through that and look at different blog posts. You can see who posted it, when it was posted, and what the important information is here. Um, let's go through. And maybe Mika, Rachel, you guys can jump in with some good example pages that we have out here. I don't get in here a whole lot. Trying to find
I
some.
think one of the pages that really kind of shows how we constantly update information is under attendance, where we do the attendance codes, because those are constantly changing, and that's information that we need to share with our secretaries quite often.
Absolutely. So we have here under attendance, and you'll notice that I clicked the little icon next to attendance. Most of you are familiar with that. That expands all the different pages below there, right? So if I'm looking here and I want to look for a particular page, I can scroll through. Like here's attendance forms. Here's about positive attendance. If I want to know if I'm an elementary secretary, how to do daily attendance, or if I'm a secondary school and I want to know how to know how to do period attendance, I've got those options here. Here are the basics on attendance, all kinds of good stuff out there. So as I start clicking on those, again, this is a pretty straightforward page. Not a whole lot of stuff in there. But if I go to my attendance codes, now I'm going in here and maybe there it is, attendance codes for 21-22. I can find it. But if I'm having trouble finding that page, I can always go back to my main page here, my overview, and utilize this search box. The search box here on this page allows me to search just the Infinite Campus dashboard space. So if I want to know attendance codes, and I say, oh, attendance codes for 21-22, it'll take me right to that page. Very, very powerful search feature. So what you're seeing on this page here is a list of attendance codes that we use in the district. And as Mika said, they tend to get updated yearly. We add and remove. Obviously, we've added some codes for COVID-19 over the past few years, and these are all organized in a nice table that we can see here. So if we needed to point to that to anyone, we can send you right to this page. Now, one of the great ways that we utilize Confluence as well is sharing this information with other users. Once you have an account and you are actually a known user versus just someone who doesn't log in and just views the pages, is that we have the ability to share pages with others. So if I wanted to click on share and type in Mika's name, I can say, here is the attendance codes page you were looking for, and she will get an email in her inbox with a link directly to this page if I wanted to share this with somebody. Now again, that requires you to have a login and in Confluence, which we're going to create for you guys. So that is one of the new features that you will have. One of the other things that you have available to you is that if it's a page that you come to often, you can go in here and star the page. This is like marking a favorite in your web browser. So up here, if I want to mark it up here in my browser, I got all these bookmarks at the top of my screen and a whole list of them down here. But if I want to bookmark a page here and say, you know what, I come to this page often, I want to star this page. Well, what does that do for me? Remember, if I go back to my home page, my home dashboard, I can go in here and see these are all the spaces that I have starred. Those are spaces that are important to me, but there are also starred pages that I can look at. So if I go look at, these are my recent pages. Where's, oh, there to start. So again, my dashboard, I can click on starred pages, and this is one I just starred today, right? So this is kind of like within Confluence, my own little set of bookmarks of pages that I go to all the time, right? So if you find that you're going to those frequently, you can star them and you can get to them really, really quickly. So all I gotta do is click on that page. and then I've got it starred, and I'm able to do that. Rachel, good point. So she said the attendance forms page is updated frequently as well. So if I go down to attendance forms, you can see here, this is where anytime we create a physical form, and this is a good example of attaching documents to a page. Like, I have an attendance, late arrival log, I have student release logs, everything in the different languages that we need to have in here, all available for you to just go out and grab anytime you need them. And the nice thing about dumping them in a little table like this, we can say, all right, here's each form, here's what language it's in. You can just click on it and download it and have it available for you to utilize. And again, I can make this a nice little start page. So next time I go to my home page and I want to see pages that I've starred, look at that, my attendance code's right there. I can get to those anytime I need to. Okay, and you guys can do that and be more efficient in what you do day to day. All right, so let's jump back to that page there.
Hey,
So
Jason, can I add something on that
please,
page?
that's,
If you
that's
could
why
stay
you
there real
guys are here.
quickly.
Which one? The form?
Next to that star, there's that bubble, that comment bubble to the left. Once everyone has a login to Confluence, they'll be able to add comments to those pages. So as you review a page and you say, hey, Rachel, this page needs updated and this is what's new information, you'll be able to add those comments as well.
Absolutely. So this is another way that you can collaborate with other team members, is adding those comments. The other item, since we're up here, is this concept of called watching a page. And what that means is, if I select this right now, and look, it's supposed to represent an eye. So if I click on this eye and say, I want to watch page, that means that I am currently interested in any time this page changes, I will get a little email that says, hey, someone has changed something on the attendance codes page. Here is a link to it. Go check it out. That is all that does for you. But it's important if it's a page that changes frequently and you want to be kept up to date on when that page changes. That's a way that you can do it, and you can turn that on and off however you see fit. And you can, same thing with the favorites. You can turn those on and off. Okay. Good point. Another thing that I'll bring up. Let me jump over and see how am I doing on time. I got about. Are we ending at 9? Are we ending 10 minutes early? Do you guys know, Mika?
I'm not sure. I
So
think
people
she
can
did say do a
transition.
few minutes early so people could transition
Yeah.
to their next
I'll
course.
probably end here in about 10 minutes or so, just so people are
Okay.
prepared and can get to their next session. All right, so jumping back to my test space here. So where's my test space? There we go. Get out of edit mode there real quick. So it doesn't really matter which page. Let's stick with my Confluence for School Secretaries page. If I wanted to create a copy of this page rather than recreating all this from scratch, so let's say I'm having a meeting every week and I want to create another page that is exactly the same. I'm just changing the dates and the agenda and things like that. You can absolutely do that. I mean, you could go in and create another page with a template and do it again, or there's an option here to the right. The three little dots here, it's called an ellipsis icon, will give me some more options that I can utilize, and one of them is to copy this page. So when I click on copy, you can say, well, where do I want this to go and what I want the parent page to be. I'm just going to leave the defaults and just click on copy. What that does for me, it creates an exact copy of that page and it renames it, copy of. So now if I want to say, well, I want it to be called the same things, but, version 2 or something, I can do that. I can publish and I have an exact copy of that same page. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time. And it dumped it down here at the bottom, but I want to drag it up here to be with all the rest of my pages. So I can move this page in between any page I want, or if I want it to be nested under there, I will hover over an existing page like that, and it will kind of nest it underneath there, so I can have a little bit of a hierarchy to my page structure there. All right, let's see. Got a little less than 10 minutes here. So, Mika, Rachel, what else am I missing here that I need to cover?
Are we going to
One
talk
thing-
about tags or anything like that?
Yeah, that's a good one. Rachel, what else did you have?
I wanted to talk about the watching. When you watch a page, You automatically watch pages that you create. So any page or comment that I create, I automatically am turned on for watching. So if anybody comments or makes an edit to my page, I get an email notification. That can get a little overwhelming when you're putting a lot of information out there on Confluence. So just be mindful of being able to turn that watch on and off, because I get an email every single time someone edits one of my pages if I don't do that.
And I'm going to share this page with both of you so we can show editing at the same time. If you guys want to, oops, if you guys want to click on that and go to this page that I'm on right now, I believe, hopefully you have access to this.
Just to narrate what I'm doing, I am Jason's sharing that with us, so I'm going to use that little bell icon. He's got a 9 plus the top. Since he shared that with me, I'm going to go up to my bell icon and watch for that notification to come in.
Let's see, I don't know, you guys. I'm giving you guys access to this real quick, so you can jump in and do this. Just take a second.
I have your test space already.
You do? Okay, Mika, I don't know if you have it or not.
No, I don't have it.
Okay, I'm
there we go.
right now. Yeah. Mika, where'd you go?
And that's one thing that Jason's handling right now for the room. He is actually controlling who can see access to the space. Our Infinite Campus dashboard is currently an anonymous space, meaning anybody on the internet can see it. Well, once we can also control those spaces by adding people, giving them specific access to it. So that's what he's doing, is giving Mika access to that space.
Right, so I'm going to go back to my page here, and I'm going to go into edit mode. And what I want to illustrate here is that when I'm in edit mode, you can see at the very top of my screen, that's who's editing this page right now. But if Mika and Rachel also click edit mode, you can see there's Mika's icon, and you can see, and then Rachel's is right there, you can see their cursors actually adding content at the same time. So imagine having a meeting, and this is the agenda, and you have multiple people in there adding content all at the same time, and you can see who is doing what, right? So that's a very cool feature. Google Docs can do that too, but it's also a feature in Confluence that you can see, and you can see who all is in there at any one time. So it makes it really, really cool to be able to see all that. Now you can't, because I'm the one showing you my page, you don't see a little letter J next to my cursor where I am. You can just see my cursor. But Rachel and Mika, when they're logged in from their end, from their point of view, they're seeing my icon and where my cursor is. So you all can edit this page at exactly the same time and click publish, and it will save everyone's changes. The only time that you can cross paths is if you're actually typing on the same word at the same time. It's essentially whoever saves that last gets the save. But if you're in different areas of the document, it will save everything at the same time. So it's great. So I click on publish, and I can save that page. If they've added any things, it would usually tell me, hey, you're going to also publish content by this other person. Is that okay? And that's perfectly fine. So let's see. So that is, yeah, and as Rachel mentioned, the watching, you notice, because I just created this page today, it automatically turned on this little eyeball here. It's colored in versus blank like it was before. That's because I created the page. So it assumes that I want to watch this page. Now, if you guys, Mika or Rachel, why don't one of you create a comment? Maybe one of you do an inline and one do a comment at the bottom. Now you can see down here at the bottom of the screen, Rachel has also added content to this page and then also published it. So since I'm sitting right here on the page, it will tell me, hey, by the way, Rachel Kelly has published a new version of this page. Would you like to reload it so you can see the changes? Sure. So we'll click on that, and we can see, you know, whatever changes that she made. I don't know what exactly she changed that, because we're just kind of playing around with it. We can also see Rachel added a new comment. All right, what's their comment? So this is an inline comment where she kind of, you know, highlighted this text, and there's the comment. This is what an inline comment looks like. I want to change this line. So that is a comment on a page. The other comments will show up at the bottom of a page. So they would be down here. So if I wanted to write a comment, here is a comment. And there it is. And someone, maybe the author of the page or someone else, can reply to my comment saying, you know, you didn't tell me much there. And they can reply to that. So that's That's again another way you can collaborate on a page. So if you guys are working together to create a page and you want to share it with your peers before you publish it to the public, you can actually utilize these comments and do that. Or if there's a page already out there and someone says, hey, we need to fix this because this is information is wrong, throw a comment in there and ask questions. It looks like Mika commented, so I can look at her comments. Look, Mika is awesome, and we already do that. So, and I can like it. I can say, yep, I agree, or whatever. So again, all these features kind of built in allow you guys to all collaborate together. So before I let you all go here today, first of all, I appreciate you all attending. We had a lot of folks jump in here today, in and out. I know some kind of came in late and we had a little snafu with Zoom, so I apologize for that. There will be another session this afternoon. I believe Mika and Rachel are going to lead that one since I'm engaged elsewhere. So feel free to attend that if you'd like. This is also recorded. Our goals in the near future are to create this new space specific for school secretaries and empower some of you to kind of be some power users to kind of get things started and start the conversation about how you want to create content on here and what you want to have. Because this is about you. This is for you guys. This is not Jason, Mika, Rachel creating something for you to view. This is something for you guys to create and begin collaborating with each other. So that's kind of the vision that Lydia Wiggins kind of brought to my attention and asked for a vehicle to help do that. And this is why we're talking about Confluence here today. So with that, I will open it up to any questions some of you might have. I got about 5 minutes or so here. If you feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question if you want, I'll be happy to answer something while we got time.
So Jason, one thing that I notice what I like about Confluence in kind of seeing this vision for the secretaries is sometimes we get into our own silos and are handling things in our buildings that we don't necessarily always have the answer to. So this tool could give us a place to reach out and get the answer from the room, like ask the question, because we have a lot of professional and a lot of knowledgeable and experienced people out there. We just don't always know how or who to reach out to. And Confluence gives us that space to kind of put the question out there and let someone who knows the answer kind of help get the answer to the right people.
That's exactly right. And the best thing about it is, maybe a lot of you have a go-to person. Like, okay, I've only been in the district for a year, but I have this mentor at a different building across town that I'll call or I'll email and she'll help me out and they know everything, right? But the danger with that is maybe 2 or 3 other new secretaries have the same questions you have and they don't have a go-to person, or their go-to person is sick or whatever. By redirecting the questions you have or some of the guidance you need to someplace like this where you can collaborate, you can have multiple people see that and be able to answer your questions and have a consensus on what the correct path is for you to help you along. And the great thing about it is whatever the answers are, they are recorded and they can be searched, right? So you know that, oh, I know a week ago somebody answered that same question. Let me go find it, or let me help you find it by doing a search and typing that in here, and you can find that exact answer to the question. So that's the great thing about it, is it archives everything, so you have a history of all those answers, and you can get what you're looking for very easily. Yes, good point, Rachel. Mika, did you want to add anything?
No, I think we pretty much covered everything. Hopefully this will give them another space to get some answers to questions, because I can answer questions about Infinite Campus, but hopefully your peers can kind of touch things that are going on in the buildings that you need to know about. It looks like there is another comment out here. New teachers have mentors. Why don't secretaries?
That's a very good point, Lucy. And unfortunately, I'm not an HR person, so I can't help you with that necessarily. However, I think that in conjunction with, when you get training from Mika when you first come to the district, and then of course we have our student data specialists that visit your building on a regular basis, and adding this other new component that we're talking about today, which is Confluence, will hopefully help bridge that gap a little bit so that your mentors can be pretty much all of your peers across the district. We just haven't always had a tool where you can easily reach out and collaborate with each other. So I'm hoping that through this project and getting you all together and starting using this together, that will help bridge that gap a little bit. So great question. Now keep in mind, this really only works is if we're all collaborating and we're all using it. So it does take a collaborative effort to do that. So just keep that in mind as we move forward, and you guys we'll give you some more information soon. I think a lot of that communication will be coming through Lydia and her team, but we are kind of like the support arm of this, so we'll get everything set up and created, and maybe kind of get things started, and definitely offer some additional training at some point, especially for those folks that are really want to get out here and create some content. We want to make sure that you know how to do that. Okay. Leslie, is this the go-to information for procedures? So when you talk about, Leslie, do you want to just come off mute and ask your question? I want to make sure I understand what you're asking me.
Hi, good morning, everybody. How are you?
Good, good.
Good morning.
I'm thinking about our record secretary. He's probably been here maybe now going on 2-3 years, but every time he does withdrawals and he refers back to the summer withdrawal process that's on Infinite Campus, it's on Confluence, he'll do it exactly the way that it is, but then it gets rejected by a central enrollment data specialist. So even though he'll screenshot and show that this is what they're saying, they'll still reject it. So I'm just wondering, is this the go-to procedure? So
let me clarify a little bit. So the documentation that he is looking at in Confluence, that's done by Tanya Freeman and her team through the the central enrollment page, which is also in Confluence. I mean, that is the source of information. If something is not jiving and people keep rejecting it, we probably need to have you work with them and understand why it's being rejected. And if the documentation needs updated, then they need to do that. Now, the space that we're creating for you all is more of a way you can collaborate with each other and say, hey, there is some guidance out there, but my withdrawal request got rejected, and I don't understand why. And someone else might be able to chime in and say, yeah, I had that the other day too. I was told that even though the documentation says this, I forgot to do this other step, or something like that. So the aim of this is for you all to kind of collaborate with each other and say, yeah, I had that same issue, but here's what I was told, or here's what the answer was for me. And then other people can agree with it and like it and say, oh yeah, okay, other people having this is the right answer, right? So does that help a little bit? I mean, that's kind of where this is coming from.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Yep. Good question.
So Leslie, with maybe I can clarify a little bit for our Infinite Campus procedures and things that we want data to go into Infinite Campus a specific way. We use Confluence to get that message out there. We all know that putting something into the computer a specific way isn't all the information that you need to process that withdrawal. So you need to know certain things about the other district. You need to know that. So as far as our tools, we use Confluence to get those procedures out there. We know that there are other stakeholders in getting you that information and getting you access to Confluence so that you guys can start gathering that procedure and in one place to put this information is the vision, is getting a place for you guys to start collecting that. No one person, team, or department can drive that. We just need to give you the tool to have that place to go to.
Got it. We'll work on that. I mean, I know that we have followed it exactly. That's been there. We, had conversations with the, people who have rejected, and, and it's different with each person down there. So I was just wondering, do they use it? Because that is an issue.
They should. Yeah, they absolutely should, of course, because they created the documents to begin with.
So I think that's the issue. I know that at COS we have had with those withdrawals. It's just been, it depends on who gets the withdrawals. That's why I was kind of, is this the go-to? Because each person looks at something different. Even when he's had notes from EMIS, they said, yeah, this is the correct way to process it, because the dates, they'll still reject it even with that email attached. So I was just curious about that. That's all.
Yeah, and I think the best answer to that is to, if you find yourself in a situation like that, provide that exact example. Talk to one of the supervisors, either Michael Taylor or Tanya Freeman. Just say, hey, we're following these directions exactly like you have on this page, and provide them a link to the page that you're looking at. And it gets rejected. So please tell me what I'm doing wrong. And if this is wrong, can you please update your documentation so that we get it right next time? that's probably the best advice I can give you for that.
Mhm. And getting you access to your account so that you can get logged in and comment on pages. So when you're actually needing that page and you see the error, you see something that is old or outdated, you can make that inline comment and say, this is the line that we are having trouble with. That goes straight to the author of that document. So getting you guys access to log in and make those comments is a step in that direction to getting that information updated that you need.
Yep, good point. Well, we're at 10 o'clock, so I think I need to cut us off here today and let you guys get to your next session. So I appreciate everyone's time today. Again, there will be another session this afternoon if you want to join us then, if you want to get more. Rachel and Mika will be leading that session today, and we'll be in touch soon with more information about Confluence. Appreciate everyone's time today.